Welcome to another fantastic time with us right here on Speak the Word Audio Book Club. We love it, and thank you for joining in on this. Well, you can join us on our Instagram and our Facebook pages at Speak the Word Audio Book Club. So you can visit us at www.speakthewordaudio.com and download the book for only $6.99. Because guys, this book is about love, life, relationship, friendship, marriage, everything you need to know about life. And we're discussing it right here. I'm not alone. My name is Ekanti Thompson, but I am not alone. I am with
Matthew and Gifty Gift.
Thank you for giving us some wise counsel every week. I love having them here. So thank you guys for joining in on us. And please give a comment on what we're discussing. So today we're on chapter 4 of The Last 10%, written by best-selling author Michelle McKenny Hammond. And this book was read by her as well. Yeah, Yes, guys. So today we're discussing Muriel, we're discussing Tracy and the conversation, and we see the contrast between them because when Tracy wakes up, she's thinking about love. She just had a breakup, and then she's writing her diary the night before about how she wants to be loved.
Yes,
she really wants to be loved.
Man.
What do you think about this?
The kind of love that Tracy wants.
Yeah.
Only God can give that love. I'm sorry, but I know I've been saying this, and I don't feel that people are understanding what I'm saying. But John 15:13 says, "Greater love has no man than this, that a man should put down his life for his friends." And I don't think that the love that she's describing, any man can give her all of it.
Yeah.
If God then provides somebody suitable to you, a mate or a husband or a partner suitable to you, then he will give them the ability to love you. But he is the only one that can love her the way she truly wants to be loved. And then if she learns how to love God back, then she will also learn how to love the man that
God. I think it was written was a bit sexual. I don't know.
And that is why God gives us man.
Yeah.
That is why God gives us. They are there instead of God.
Yeah.
And that's why now it's 1-to-1, because he's a jealous God. So he just doesn't want you to be with everybody and anyone. So he says 1-to-1, so that at least he knows who it is that's looking after you. So the love that she's describing is God that will give her that person, because she loves God so much. God will try and bring along this man, who is suitable to you, who will complete you. You see, not to compete with you, but to complete you and to help you. Yes.
So the first question is that how much value do you place on having a mate? How much value do you place on having
a lot of value on it, because you need company. You need somebody with you.
But Muriel doesn't.
Muriel doesn't, because of the disappointment she's faced, and it's because she wasn't seeking God.
We have two people, and both of them I see at the extreme.
Yeah.
Muriel doesn't want, not even look twice at the guy.
Yes.
Even when the guy was trying to open the door for her, she didn't even look at him.
Yeah.
So Tracy had to tell her that, oh, come on, they treat you right. And say thank you to the guy. Say thank you. Then we have Tracy, who is so much like so vulnerable, wants love so badly, and is listening to the news of 13 women to one man, and she's so heartbroken that you can only get married in Alaska or China or Utah. I mean, come on, these are two. So what do you think is the balance?
So I think that God and our husbands are connected. The more you love your husband, or the more you love God, then you see that the more closer you get to your husband. You see? But if you try to leave God out, then you are both going like that, so you don't meet. So that's the thing.
For me personally, from my experience, I like to give my personal experience. Before I came to God, honestly, my mind was not on marriage. I did not put a lot of value on having a mate because I didn't see the importance. I didn't see why. You know, the mindset of a strong, independent woman, you don't need a man, like more like a mirror kind of thing. Like you don't need a man. What do you need a man for? You can get married at 40. But then when I came to God and I started serving, started working in the church, and then I realized that no, it is important because this is company. Because the Bible says that we should flee fornication. I can't be in church and be fornicating. It doesn't bring a balance. So I think that there's a lot that my mindset changed. So I think that people in the world or people who are not in Christ, they have a certain mind also.
And the Bible also says two is better than one. Marriage is important. That's why God made it. And then He gave us the Bible as the handbook. You know, so if you do that, it should work. To a large extent. It's only when you allow the devil in that things happen. But otherwise, marriage is beautiful.
First of all, the value I would place on finding a mate or being married is 100% if I should put it. Because the Bible says that he that findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. And the reason why I say God provides and man has to find is because just as our forefathers in the Bible, Abraham, Moses, and everybody, God provided them, but they had to find a way. You see, God provided Abraham with a lamb. If Abraham couldn't have listened or deciphered God's voice, he would have killed Isaac for free. For free. So sometimes, yes, you are in church, yes, you start by doing but there are people in church who are not married. There are people above them. I'm not saying there's a marriage age or whatever, but there are people above the threshold who are still in church and not married. Why? Because they've refused to either find by hearing God's voice, because God has provided. In churches, there's lots of males, there's lots of females, God provides. But now it's finding, it's hearing the quality voice of God, the qualities. You see that, hey, this is the person I have provided for you. Or look for these qualities, because I believe God speaks. Sometimes He can speak to you audibly that, Mama Jane, this person is the person I've chosen to marry. But God also gives you insight. God gives you word of knowledge. God gives you His guidance. He gives you His peace. He gives you so many things.
He gives you fathers and mothers as well.
Counsel. God said, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So somebody may be in the church, and as you are saying, the person doesn't have counselors. The person just goes to church as in a tradition. Let me go to church and go and sit down.
Some people don't want to have counselors because they will not even allow you into their lives. And I think as women also, you should open your eyes. The guy may not be looking very glamorous right now. He might be looking very chicky-licky, and he doesn't. Honestly, when I was getting married, I didn't tell my friends that I was dating someone at the time. Because if I did, they would have discouraged me. Like, hey, who is this one? Where is it from? Why do you think this one? So I kept it silent for a while, and I didn't, because I felt like it was time for me to get married. I felt like it wasn't just time, but this is someone who was my friend as well. So it's important to have a mate as a Christian.
Very important.
So move on to our next questions, guys. What do you think about what we're discussing? Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles on Instagram or Facebook. Comment, send that video, and let's get talking. Let's know your mind. Let's know if you're reading the book. You can get the book, The Last 10%, for only $6.99. That is 79 CDs. That's something that's so easy, cheesy. All right, so we'll move on to our next question. What would it take to truly complete you? Help you. I saw you because you're very beautiful. A beautiful woman like you.
A suitable God-fearing man. I will never change my answer. A suitable God-fearing man will complete me. So that we both love the same things, we enjoy the same things. Even it's okay to also laugh at the same jokes, So I would like somebody of the same faith as me. If I'm a Christian, I guess we should be a Christian. We go to the same church, we worship God together, we are free to work in the house of God. And that will complete me, because I love to be in the house of God. So if I get a mate like that, then I would really like that.
It's a very dicey question. And like I say, and I will say again, is first of all, the person, before you are even finding a mate, I believe each individual has to be complete. on their own. You have to have the God factor on your own.
Exactly.
You have to know God for yourself.
That's correct.
Love God.
We can't stop saying that. We can't stop saying that. Yeah.
And then when you now find the mate, both of you come, and it's not a competition because when you read the virtuous woman, when you read that scripture, you will even find her more complete in the husband. Because everything that the scripture says was to glorify the husband.
That's correct.
The husband is praising
It's praising the gates because of her. Yeah.
So it's like the wife is completing the man. But it doesn't take, it takes a woman who's been virtuous, and that virtuousness comes from being with God.
That's correct.
So for her completion, because not everybody can even do that. All the things that, she brings her food from afar, she seeks for a land and buys it, she has a merchandise, she does business. Not many people are like that.
Yeah.
But when one is complete, and see, I like this because when you take somebody from a Gentile position, like someone, an unbeliever, like we see in the case of Ruth and Naomi, we see Naomi teaching Ruth, because Ruth came from an unbeliever nation, Moab, and Boaz was a very godly man, coming from the line of David. Because even when it was time for him to even make a decision, he told Ruth that no, there's somebody before me. This is a very God-fearing man. There's somebody before me. Let's go and let me talk to the elders. If the person agrees to marry you, then fine, it settles it. But if the person doesn't like you or choose you, then it now comes to me. You see? So it's both people coming in as complete, knowing God for themselves. And when they come together, the reason why I use the Ruth and Naomi situation is because even an unbeliever can be mentored. Because the Bible says, let the elderly women teach the younger women. So that an unbeliever can be mentored, can be taught, and can be brought in the love of Christ on how to behave and how to do things. You see? So that by the end of the day, finding a mate brings completion.
For me, I think completion is to get to heaven. So we get to heaven. Because, I could do what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, that you should be complete and, you should be your own person. You should be happy on your own. All those things are important. But in a marriage, sometimes you just feel like there's something like everything's go wrong. So the completion comes when we all get to heaven. That's when the completion comes. That's the ultimate. On earth it looks fantastic and everything, but the real completion is up there. Alright, so we move on to our next question, and it says that how is your love relationship with God? Your love relationship with God.
How is that relationship with God? Well, if you love somebody, talk to them a lot. So that's prayer. If you love God, you should be praying a lot, not just 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You should be talking to God, intimately, talking, crying, whatever you have to do to get his attention, and talk to him for hours and hours, And also, because he's not physical, at least you can be doing things to make your prayer longer. I believe that you should just be lying in bed and then pray a little, then sleeping. If somebody was talking to you and you're sleeping half and waking up, you won't like it. So I think that you should be active around the house, doing something. Then your virtuousness may even come out. Because by the time your children wake up, everything is done. Their things are ironed, the fridge is clean, some food is there, everything is, your place is tidy. Not that everywhere is dirty and everything, and then you say you love God, So if you love God, talk to him. And if you are talking to him, when you are driving alone in the car, you can be praying. You are talking to him. So I'll say that yes, if you love God, or if you want to get close to God, you should be having something called quiet time. And that's usually done between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Because at 5 a.m. people start sleeping and making noise. So it's a quiet time. It's a quiet time. Yeah, and when we pray, we are the ones talking to God. When we read the Bible, God is talking to us. And when we read the Bible, we should try and do what the Bible is saying. A little here, a little there, line upon line, precept upon precept. That is how to grow as a child of God. And then you can know how to go deeper and deeper in love with God by hearing the things that he has to say to you. The Bible says that if you obey my commandments, the person who loves me obeys my commandments. You see, so if you try to be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving ourselves that we are Christians, then that's it. So,
just to chip in, I think when I was in the world, do you know what I'm right now?
It's amazing. That's not religious.
Yeah.
religious.
Oh no, I felt like I needed to communicate with some.
I mean,
You know, but
it's there.
when you are in a certain industry, when there are certain things probably you try to avoid,
Yes.
but you probably wouldn't be able to avoid because of the stereotype and the stigma and everything that comes with what you're doing. Jesus said, if you love me, you keep my commandments.
That's correct.
You know,
Yeah, and it's true. And what you say about even not being a Christian and still having a quiet time, it's possible.
I was reading my
You see, because Bible says that does not even nature teach you. You see, because there are so many people who are unbelievers, but they follow the principles or the wisdom of God. Because Bible says God is the power and the wisdom. So you can be an unbeliever and still have not really a relationship with God, but follow the wisdom of God to do certain things because it's laid down. It doesn't. His words, Bible says, the words that He has spoken are there. It will not return to Him, but if somebody follows those words, it will happen to the person. You see. And I would say that my personal love relationship with God is a developing one. I mean, just like a child growing up, you have things that you do, and then you laugh separate and everything. But I believe what even makes it more a fulfilling journey is having counselors, is having mentors, is having pastors. Because the Bible says, I will give you pastors after my own heart who will feed you. You see, and it's the feeding that makes you laugh. You see, it's the feeling that makes you laugh. Because now you have the knowledge, you are strong, you are deep rooted. So you can now love the people. Because when I know you, as I talk to you and I know you more, I begin to love certain things about you. I begin to love you. You see, so I think that in the journey of our
like the way I love the way you're talking right now, because I didn't think you should talk like this when I saw you first. But the way you're talking is peaceful.
That's God also says that if you love me, feed my sheep.
Yeah.
That's what He was telling Peter. So yes, if you desire the sincere milk of the word, then we'll grow up. And then as we are growing up, we love Him, and then He will supply all our needs.
Because it's been wonderful having you here. Don't forget to get the book. Somebody called me and said she was going to get a book. I'm going to call her again and find out if she got it. So it's just 79 CDs or $6.99. Did you guys realize the reading is so wonderful? The reading, oh my God. Michelle, my Kenny Hammond is gifted. She is gifted. Nicely read, the pronunciation. So now, do you know what I do? If I want to learn how to speak pronounce some certain words, I go back to the book and listen to how she pronounces it. That's the secret I just give you. So get the book and don't be left out right here with the discussion for the last 10%. It's been wonderful having you. I look forward to seeing you when we have our next discussion.
Make a list of your expectations. How do they compare with your standards? Why is it difficult to allow God to select the right person for you? What has been your track record for making great choices on your own?
What can I say about the last 10%? Except you just gotta listen to it. It's so well written and read. I was tempted to just actually listen to it all at one sitting. The story is compelling and it's so visually written almost. You can see the people.
By the time she reached the table and sat in her chair, she completely unraveled before she could even squeeze out a hello. Finally, lifting a tear-stained face from her hands, she gazed into their faces. She reached out a hand to place on top of Tracy's and held it silently. What did he do this time? No, she held up her hand. Let me guess. Another woman, right?
There's a sisterhood that you feel jumping out of those pages or those words, I guess. Inspiration in your ears is what it is. And it's inspirational because it's so well grounded. You know, the women are you and your friends. Been there, done that. There's nobody who's holier than thou or more virtuous. There's nobody whose life hasn't got issues. So this is a novel about living in today's world as a single woman with a man, without a man, with the wrong man, looking for the right man, with the man you think is the right man, and then discovering maybe it's not. It's just the things we all face.
Are you seeing someone else? I said I was working. Oh, don't play me. You're a plastic surgeon. Don't tell me the beauty business keeps you out this late at night unless you're having a late night consultation. The phone rang, but she already had the receiver in her hand, wondering who would be calling this time of night. Is Ron there? Excuse me? Adrian was taken aback by a woman's voice on the other end of the line. Is Ron there? Who may I say is calling? Amber, his assistant. Hold on one moment. She answered Ron's unspoken question. It's Amber.
Every one of us either is or knows one of those women in that circle. And this is a novel that teaches you how to keep the bonds of sisterhood and stay grounded in your faith with real joy and humor. With real joy and humor that'll keep you going and committed to yourself and your faith and your friends and the real value of the way we live our lives as Christian women.
According to the latest statistics, the only places that have eligible men left are China, Alaska, and Utah. Unless you're looking for a man 65 or over, then you can go to Nevada. Think about it, Muriel.
So, listen to the last 10%, especially if you think you might be one of them.
Join the Speak the Word audio book club on our website, Facebook, and Instagram.
Speak the word, speak the word, speak the word.